Every day, in millions of homes around the world, the same small ritual unfolds. A dog rises from a nap. It wasn't really sleeping. It walks to the door, and it waits. No one called it, no leash was picked up, no keys jingled. And yet, somehow, it knew. What if I told you that this ordinary moment, the one we barely notice, is actually one of the most quietly debated mysteries in animal behavior science? Because the truth is, researchers still don't fully agree on what is happening inside that waiting dog's mind. Is it memory? Is it routine? Is it something closer to longing? And the strangest part is that the closer scientists look, the less simple the answer becomes. The easiest explanation is the one most of us reach for instinctively. Dogs miss us. They're lonely. They love us. Case closed. And there's real truth buried in that instinct. But love is not a scientific explanation. It's a label. The real question is, what is actually happening, biologically and psychologically, when a dog waits? To understand that, we have to go back roughly 15,000 to 40,000 years, the contested window during which wolves became dogs. Most domestication theories agree on one thing. The wolves that thrived near early human settlements weren't the boldest or the strongest. They were the calmest, the ones who could tolerate human presence without panic. Over thousands of generations, something extraordinary happened. Natural selection didn't just shape behavior, it appears to have reshaped biology itself.
In 2017, geneticist Bridget von Holt and her team found something striking. Certain dogs carry genetic variants near a region associated with hypersociability, a region that, in humans, is linked to Williams-Buren syndrome, a condition defined by unusually high sociability and a strong drive to bond with others. In other words, some of the friendliest, most attached behaviors we see in dogs may be written, quite literally, into their DNA. So when your dog waits at the door, it may not simply be a habit. It might be the echo of an ancient genetic rewiring. But that still doesn't explain why the door specifically. In the late 1990s, a Hungarian researcher named József Topol asked a deceptively simple question: do dogs form attachments the way human infants do? To find out, his team adapted a famous psychological test originally designed for human babies, the strange situation test, created by developmental psychologist Mary Ainsworth. The setup: a dog is placed in an unfamiliar room, sometimes alone, sometimes with a stranger, sometimes with its owner. The results were unmistakable. When the owner left the room, many dogs showed clear behavioral signs of distress, increased vocalization, pacing, and a fixation on the door the owner had exited through. When the owner returned, the dog's behavior shifted dramatically.
If your mind just went to your own dog standing at your door every evening, you're not imagining a pattern. You're recognizing real, documented science. And if this kind of discovery fascinates you, this is exactly the kind of mystery this channel exists to explore. So if you want to keep going deeper into the hidden inner world of dogs, this is a good moment to subscribe, because what comes next changes the picture again. Here's where the story gets even stranger. In 2015, a team led by Japanese researcher Miho Nagasawa published a study in the journal Science that revealed something remarkable. When dogs and their owners look into each other's eyes, both species experience a rise in oxytocin, the same hormone responsible for the bond between human mothers and infants. Wolves raised by humans, even with identical affection and care, did not produce this same hormonal response through eye contact. Something had changed, not just in behavior but in biochemistry, somewhere along the long road from wolf to dog. This is sometimes called the oxytocin gaze loop. You look at your dog, oxytocin rises in both of you, which deepens the bond, which increases the desire for further connection. Which means that doorway your dog is staring at isn't just a piece of furniture, it's the place where one half of a biochemical loop temporarily breaks and where it's about to be restored. But hormones alone don't explain timing, and dogs are famous for impossible timing. Owners often report something almost eerie: dogs that get up minutes, sometimes precisely before someone arrives home. No car sound yet, no key in the lock, nothing a human could perceive. For years, this fueled speculation about a kind of canine sixth sense.
Science offers a more grounded,
but arguably just as astonishing: scent. A dog's olfactory system isn't just sharper than ours. Researchers estimate dogs may possess tens of millions more scent receptors than humans, along with a vastly larger portion of their brain devoted to processing smell. Researcher and cognitive scientist Alexandra Horowitz has proposed something fascinating. Dogs may not just smell a scent, they may smell time itself through the gradual fading of scent molecules. A freshly used coffee mug, a recently worn jacket, a doorway someone walked through an hour ago, all carry a chemical signature that weakens predictably over time. This remains a hypothesis, not a settled fact, but it offers a compelling possibility. A dog at the door may be reading invisible chemical traces the way we read a clock. Which means your dog may not be guessing when you'll arrive. It may be calculating it through a sense we can barely imagine. If attachment is real, what happens when it's disrupted for too long? A 2011 study by researchers Therese Wren and Linda Keeling found that dogs left alone for longer durations showed measurably elevated cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone, along with behavioral signs of distress that intensified with time alone. This is the biological foundation behind what veterinary behaviorists call separation-related behavior, not simple naughtiness, but a genuine physiological stress response, which reframes the waiting dog entirely. It isn't just affection. It may be the visible tip of something deeper, a nervous system that evolved, at least in part, around the expectation of social closeness, and that registers prolonged absence.
And if that's true, then waiting at the door isn't passive. It's anticipatory regulation, the calming of a system that has been mildly destabilized by your absence, resolving the moment you walk back through it. Here's the comparison that makes everything click into place. Wolves, even those raised in captivity by humans from birth, do not typically show this same door-waiting, owner-fixated behavior toward their human caretakers. Research comparing dogs and human socialized wolves, including work from evolutionary anthropologists Brian Hare and Michael Tomasello, has found dogs vastly outperform wolves at reading human social cues, following human pointing gestures, and orienting their behavior around human presence and attention. Wolves are intelligent, wolves are social, but their sociality evolved around their own pack, not around us. Dogs are different. Something in domestication appears to have redirected an ancient social architecture, originally built for other wolves, toward an entirely different species, toward us. Which means that doorway isn't just where your dog waits. It may be where 15,000 years of evolutionary redirection becomes visible in a single, ordinary moment. Here is where humility matters most. We know dogs show attachment behaviors. We know oxytocin rises during bonding. We know separation can elevate stress hormones. We know scent may help dogs track time. What we still cannot fully answer is the deepest question of all. What is
Neuroscientist Gregory Burns has used MRI scanning on awake, unrestrained dogs and found activity in brain regions like the caudate nucleus associated with positive anticipation in humans, activated by cues connected to their owners. It's suggestive. It's not proof of subjective experience the way humans know it. And maybe that's the most honest place science can leave us, not with a final answer, but with a deepening respect for how much remains genuinely unknown. So what is happening when your dog waits at the door? It's genetics, shaped by thousands of years of selection toward human sociability. It's hormones, looping between two species in a bond once thought biologically impossible. It's a nervous system, mildly destabilized by absence and resolved by return. It's a sensory world built on scent, possibly tracking time in a language we don't speak. And underneath all of it, it's the echo of an animal that, for reasons science is still piecing together, chose, generation after generation, to orient its entire social world around a different species entirely. Personally, I find that remarkable. Not because it's sentimental, but because it's true. An animal shaped by ancient wolves, rewired by genetics, regulated by hormones identical to a mother's bond with her child, standing quietly by a door, waiting for someone it has chemically, neurologically, and evolutionarily come to need.
And that is a door we haven't opened yet. Maybe next time we should.